Basically, what my will do. The act would criminalize and set a mandatory minimum sentence for the unlawful interference with traffic upon federal highway, state highways, and state highways, and I want you to understand that, not city or towns, town roads. And it's not designed to prohibit public assembly or freedom of speech or freedom of assembly. It's a public safety issue, and that's why I presented it. And that's why I should not say presented it, I signed on to it on the House side, I should say. And I'm happy to have signed on to it. Because at some point in time, where do we stop? At my voice to assemble, to disallow someone else's place to freedom to pass. And it was easy for me to understand that. Because, and even if you want to go back to Selma, we could use that. During that time, we assembled peacefully, orderly, within the law. That's where I'm at on this. I do not want you to misunderstand that we want to stop your protest or your public assembly. I want you to understand that when you take away someone else's liberties, and the liberties that they need to move freely or whatever, you are now hindering the other people's liberties. That's what this law does. Now, there are some room in this legislation that we should give and will give to the court system. And that's what the law will do. But do not take it for its face value. What the law does is to say, hey, if you willingly and challenge the laws that are in place, and you do that intentionally, then who are we hurting? We hurt us all. You can do that civilly, and we've done that. As an African American, you understand that. We did that orderly, civilly, in the confines of the law. And we won within the law confines. We do this and we ask for this law because there is an injustice that's happening to people who are going about their daily lives that we may hinder. And that's why I bring this, and I was happy to sign on to this law to do that. If there's any other questions, I will ask that now.
Thank you, Representative Paul. Any questions for Representative Paul? Representative Jello.
Representative Paul, you mentioned Selma.
Yeah.
Did the freedom marchers in Selma have a permit to march?
No, but they were orderly and civilly obedient to the laws in the confines at the time.
You broke that.
Were
There's a
there
permit.
such a things as a permit to have a demonstration to march in that time? I don't remember.
No, at that time, and I use Selma for a purpose, because if you remember Thurgood Marshall, you have to work within the legal system to make an effective change. And you have to. It's not perfect, but I think if we remember the past and not forget the past, we need to understand where we're at today. Today. We can always revert back to the past, Representative, but we need to come forward also, and I mean that on purpose, and not to forget the past, but to move forward because we're not the same we were in 1965. not the same. They're not. And that's where I'm getting at today, and that's, should it be a felony? No, but I want you to think of somebody else now, because we are more conscious today than we were in 1965, if I'm not mistaken. And I could be wrong on the date. We are more conscious of it. Not forgetful, more conscious.
Representative Almeida.
Thank you, Representative Paul. So, was there any violent act on the highway at the time before this bill was introduced, at the time they did the demonstration?
Representative, no, there was no violent act. The act itself prevents normal people at the time who would be on our side or anybody's side for something that is wrong. Because remember, we are in a different place today than we were before. My bill intends to say, hey, if you intentionally, and they do it, and I do understand where they're coming from. I absolutely do understand where they're coming from. Because if you don't enlighten somebody's awareness, you will never know what's going on. I understand that. But what we're missing, there are a lot of people, very good people, and very sincere people that are on all of our sides.
Well,
To do what's right. It's easy to hide behind, oh, well, we get the attention. You get the attention. If you get the attention, you do nothing after the attention, what happens then?
you and I are not disagreeing. What I'm concerned about is one word, felony. I'm out, so everybody knows, I signed out the other bill because it's a misdemeanor.
It is.
Is it gonna solve everything? No. Let's just take our civil rights agenda to the side. But the fact is, by charging somebody a felony, that, I don't know what the percentage rate is, but a good portion of people of color are gonna be walking across that highway.
I'm with you.
And I can help them with a misdemeanor. My hands are tied.
I'm with you, Representative. I'm with you.
So
wholeheartedly. My bill is an awareness bill.
All right, but hit me out. So the only thing I'm, right now for this issue is the word felony, because that word felony hasn't changed from 65 to present day.
But what you honestly, and I'm glad we're having this conversation here in this committee, is there dialogue. There's dialogue that's happening. Because it could still be a felony. Still be a misdemeanor, but it's still a crime. If you know what I mean.
It's a felony in your book.
It is.
I'm just
As a misdemeanor, it's still a crime, isn't it?
Sure enough, but we ain't talking about that. We're talking about it's a felony.
Hear me out. If it's still a crime to do civil disobedience, and awareness is what you want, or what we want, and I'll be included in that, then why not bring that awareness to the forefront?
So you're willing to sign on with this dialogue with you and I on this next bill, which makes it a misdemeanor, and then let that go?
Please.
I'm asking a question.
We have dialogue now.
Yeah.
Can we get there?
Yeah.
Can you understand where I'm at? To understand there are other people that are involved in this also?
Yeah.
That would like to be on board, outside of this conversation. Because, remember, what's involved here are other people other than the people who think they can make the official change. We're not in 1965.
I'm not talking about 65, I'm talking about the word felony.
That's
what
right,
I'm
but we
talking
can
about.
get there. We
Okay,
can get there.
so we can get
you
there by
need not-
signing on this bill today.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem.
So you're saying you're willing to pull this bill out?
No, listen, I am willing to pull the bill
That's
out
what I'm saying.
if you understand where I'm at and other people.
I do understand where you're at.
Then
But I'm
I
asking-
have no problem.
But I can tell you that I'm okay with you, my brother, but are you willing to sign on with me and get rid of this felony and then talk about this misdemeanor that's next up?
I have no problem.
Okay, we're good to go.
Years ago, Mr.
Huh?
Years ago.
The misdemeanor?
Yes.
Oh, but my brothers, the only word he mentioned is felony, so.
Yeah, I have no problem. I just wanted to bring
So-
awareness
You know, you sure did, 'cause I'm sure aware, my
Yeah,
friend.
to a whole other side of what's going on here, and I understand the people that are involved, and they want to bring awareness to what's going on in my place. But I also want to make other people understand, unless you understand where I'm at, I understand where you're at. How else do we get the conversation started?
You truly are, Andrew Young, but I'll stick with Stokey. So you come over here, and we'll be good. That's fine, I do see your name on it, I understand that, my
Yes.
brothers. That's not what I'm going at.
I
You know,
understand.
we want to point it out to you.
You know what I mean? I can see it, even without this damn.
I understand.
Yeah. So let's make our statement here.
We can do that. Absolutely, we
Because-
can do that.
Okay,
There's not a problem with that.
okay.
But understand why I signed on as an African American. Because we're part of this whole dynamic. We're not separate and apart. We're part of this.
Well, as a black man, I'm ready for you to come forward.
Well, as a black man, I will tell you, I have no disagreement.
I want to turn this into a meeting, so we'll go.
Representative Almeida, I'm not getting in the middle of this.
I have no disagreement.
Bullshit.
I have no disagreement.
Okay, we'll go.
Any further questions for Representative Hall? Representative Hall, can I see you in my office for 1 minute? Can you be at ease?
Yes.